Aw, he choofed.
Oh, he choofed? The fuck's that mean?
I'm so glad you asked. To break it down to its simplest form, choofed is a state of mind, a way of seeing the world. Think of it similar how you would someone whenever they tell you they're a realist or a pessimist or an optimist. Doesn't necessarily tell you everything about that person, but it gives you a pretty good idea as to how they'll generally go about their daily lives. Optimists, I feel like, tend to be pretty calm, aloof about the world that surrounds them, even if, internally they're screaming and dying. Pessimists seem to seek out sadness and frustration around every corner, even though they know it's destroying their mental health. And realists are just pessimists in denial.
Choofed. Choofed. Choofed.
Choofed is like that. It combines the calm, cool, chill guy auras of optimism with more of an emphasis on the whole rather than the individual. Being choofed means slowing down, questioning the little things around you, letting curiosity and passion drive what you do, and most importantly, staying true to the one person that can help you throughout your entire life. You. If I'm being completely honest, being choofed is genuinely hard to put into words. That intro, the previous 2 paragraphs of my script, took 3 hours to write. 3 hours! It wasn't fun! I sat at my computer for so long just trying to find a way to describe how one becomes choofed, because I genuinely think this is the sort of philosophy that people need to be more aware of. But it's like trying to describe touching grass to a Fortnite player. It's borderline impossible, okay? But I want to try, okay? I genuinely want to try. I mean, there's 8 billion potential people to see this. Surely someone can kind of, sort of, maybe understand what I mean. So, fuck it.
Choofed.
I think the best way to describe what being choofed looks like in practice is to give you guys an example or two of me being choofed in my life to illustrate what I mean. Going forward, I want you to remember, the subjects included are the important part of the story. The priority is the way I approach how I let things beyond my control influence my life and ultimately influence my view on the world. So, let's just jump into it. Why the hell not? A few weeks ago, I was driving to the local dispensary to restock on some flour. Nothing new for me. I do this pretty often, but it does require me to drive on the interstate for a bit. It's like hour and some change both ways. It's not bad. But on that trip, you ever see a semi and you're just like, you're gonna get over and you're gonna pass whoever you're trying to pass about 1 mile an hour faster for the next 5 minutes? Well, that exactly happened. Obviously, I was annoyed. I tend to have a lead foot when I drive in general, so I had to slow down by
I don't want to incriminate myself too much.
obviously, I didn't want to rear end a semi. And because of that, I said some things that were not necessarily kind about the driver in the moment. So, yeah. But then, after that, something happened I honestly didn't expect. After eventually passing the other semi, the one in front of me merged back over into the right lane. And before I could just zoom on by him, move on with my life, forget like he ever existed, he flashed his lights and waved at me.
Wow.
It was simple. He just gave me a couple blinks of appreciation, a fair how do you do, and that was it. A flash and a wave. Couldn't have been more than an 8-second interaction, but it stuck with me. I drove home the rest of the way just thinking about it. The number of times that I'd cussed out a semi or any other driver, if I'm being real, it's probably similar to Kendrick's monthly Spotify listeners at this point. But this one act, something he probably does to every driver he passes, was the most random glimpse of kindness from someone that I just by default assumed was an asshole. I mean, for all I knew, he knew I was there and just willingly did it because he didn't want to wait any longer. But even if that's the case, a flash and a wave. I didn't know his name. I didn't know his age, if he was married or single. I couldn't make out any race. I didn't know how long he'd been driving. I didn't know anything other than that he existed. But that didn't matter. Kindness was kindness, no matter who it came from. Look, I'm talking this up a lot, and I don't want to make this a bigger deal than it was, but with how divisive the general public seems to be nowadays, I think it really is important to remember how much the little things can mean to someone. As corny as it may sound, you genuinely never know what someone's going through. And I feel like now more than ever, people are genuinely terrified to just live their lives. And when you stumble upon an interaction like that, it's reassuring. It's kind of nice, knowing that there's at least somebody else out there that still appreciates the little things, You know, I mean, you just never know what someone's going through when you stumble upon them for the one interaction you will have with them for your entire life. I mean, as rare as the odds may be, yes, the person who just did a really shitty job serving you isn't bad at their job. Maybe their parents just died the day before. Not even their parents, any relative, any death in a close family would be devastating. Maybe their kid's sick. You just genuinely never know. But if I only see them once, why should I be kind to them even if they weren't kind to me? Okay, 3 reasons off the top of my head. Number 1, it's the right thing to do. This is pretty simple. I genuinely shouldn't need this explained to you, you fuck. Number 2, you're only feeding into their hatred, ultimately proving their anger and their rudeness and whatever hostility they had toward you justified. And you're just furthering the cycle of violence. You're not getting anywhere, unfortunately. And lastly, life is unpredictable. That random person might just be down in their luck. And what if they turned around and become your boss one day and they remember you? Oh, the odds are so low, it'll never happen. Everybody doesn't think it'll happen till it does. Remember all the people claiming Russia's gathering of troops on Ukraine's border was just a show of force and Putin was gonna actually invade? No? Man, recency bias is a hell of a thing. Look, long story short, I still think about that trucker every once in a while. I hope he's doing well.
Choofed.
Now that we're a bit more familiar with the concept, I'll ask again. What does being choofed mean? It means taking a step back from your own ego and pride and trying, keyword trying, to see things as objectively as possible. It means taking in the world around you and recognizing that sometimes, yes, you are the bad guy, but also knowing that it doesn't have to be that way. It means sitting down, being humble, and being willing to learn from or teach others depending on the situation, but regardless of the person.
Choofed.
I feel like older and younger generations alike struggle with pride in completely different ways. I can't help but feel like older generations, by older I mean like older than 50 probably, they have this attitude that because they've been alive longer, they're simply entitled to respect and privileges from each other, but especially from those still in high school or college. It feels like they hit a certain age and are like, all right, I've been working and growing for long enough that I think I'm good for the rest of life. It's the living embodiment of the fuck you, I got mine mindset that is so prevalent online and in the upper echelons of society. Like, it feels like they refuse to listen to anyone younger than them because, oh, they don't know what the real world is like. Not to be completely biased, younger generations have issues too, especially those raised with the modern internet. Not only do they have a pride problem, but an empathy one too. Think about it. What is the one thing that you have never seen on the internet? You can find gore videos. I don't even need to bring up pornography. Like, you can find literally anything that you can think of, essentially. Any YouTube topic, any tweet, someone's probably already thought of it on Tumblr. Sorry, hate to tell you. Or on 4chan. Like, it's probably already out there. But what is the one thing that you've never seen on the internet despite that? Through all the content, all the comment sections that I've ever scrolled in my life, I've never seen an argument resolve online. I've never seen 1 or 2 commentators agree and it ends with one of them saying, you're right, my bad, or you changed my mind actually. It doesn't happen because it seems like the worst thing you could do online is admit you were wrong. You don't think the people who were exposed to that kind of attitude growing up didn't embody a part of that within their real lives? Like, you don't think it just ends on, like, you think it just ends online? It doesn't, like, filter over? No. That ain't how that works. Going back to the division within countries again, I can't help but feel like a part of that problem is people's pride and ego. I don't think it's the biggest reason, and I think it's far from the only reason, but I certainly don't think it's making matters any better. Honestly, look, I'm sure I could have an entire video about how social media caused division, so let me know if that's something you'd want to be curious about in the comments below. But my main point is that everybody isn't done working on themselves until they take their last breath. Any belief otherwise is outright selfish and detrimental to the rest of humanity, honestly. Every story is unique, and some are going to have more struggles than others, but I truly believe that everyone is capable of improvement at the end of the day, and that it never stops from the moment you take your first breath to the moment you exhale your last. But that's part of the difficulties that come with being choofed. There's nuance in everything in life, and anybody who tells you that something is simply this one way is lying to you. Asking questions, seeking out answers for yourself, understanding as many perspectives as possible other than your own are crucial to personal growth and being choofed alike. Truth takes time to uncover. After all, if what they said is true, you should be able to come to that conclusion on your own at the end of the day, regardless of what you see online. I don't know how true that is anymore with algorithms and all that shit, but again, that can be another video for another day.
Choofed.
Look, being choofed is complicated. This video is intended to be an intro to the ideology, so those who want to know more can stick around, ask questions that I can answer, or just get inspired by any future content I make in order to clarify exactly what I mean when I say I'm choofed. So to answer the question of the title, I'll summarize 5 crucial points for y'all to take away. 1, ask questions, stay curious about the world. It is never a bad thing to ask questions. Even if it's a stupid question, the only drawback you're going to get from it is social reprimand. Okay? Worst case scenario, you don't say it and something goes wrong. 2, pay attention and appreciate the little things in life. They're all over. You just have to look for them. 3, push aside your pride and listen to those around you. If you're in the right place in life and you're surrounded with the right people, they'll want what's best for you. 4, you are never done working on yourself. Never. Say it louder for the people in the back. Lastly, understanding your own worth and your influence on others is essential, not only to your own life, but to making sure that those around you are also living their best lives. Because whether you care to admit it or not, or you even realize it, what you say and what you do matters. Obviously, there's a lot more to it than that, and I would argue it takes months, if not years, to fully understand it. I would argue I still am discovering new things about what it means to be choofed. And honestly, even then, how I live out being choofed is probably completely different to yours, and that's okay. We all don't have to enjoy or even understand the same things, but we should be able to at least coexist without it coming at the expense of another's happiness. Hasn't life taken enough of our youthfulness already? Why be the cause of someone else's misery when you haven't sought to understand why it brings them joy in the first place? Sorry, at this point, I'm not really even sure what this video is going to turn out to be. I've been wanting to start creating YouTube content since the start of the year, but I kept changing on what I want the first video to be.
We stand perfectionism.
Hey, later's better than never, so here we are now at least. I plan on trying to do bi-weekly uploads since I think once a month would be too long, but once a week is too short for the kind of quality I want to put out. Like I said, perfectionism. I plan on doing more stuff like this where I just find something random out of my daily life and turn it into an existential crisis or some profound spiritual experience. I've found I'm pretty good at that, so why not share the talent, if you can call it that. If you don't want to wait that long for more of my unforgettable charm and just dashing good looks, then you can catch me live on Twitch, actually. I stream most days. Recently, I've been streaming every day. I love having a little choof sesh with y'all, and, you know, you can see me get mad at whatever game I'm playing that day. It's a good time. Here's a clip for you.
I just think it's Revenant because Revenant would also be freezing temperatures, and I have not been looking at the thermometer, so maybe it is freezing temperatures.
Nah, it's a day. Trust me, it's with the dots. Trust me. I know you have more experience in this game, but trust me, it's a they. It's not a Revenant, it's gonna be a they. Watch chat. Level's gonna end, it's gonna appear. Ghost was they. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back. I've prepared some jobs for you.
Did you have fun?
Otherwise, I think that's gonna do it for me. Like, subscribe, comment if anything in here resonated with you or any idea you want to cover next. You know the standard YouTube stuff. Hey, I've been Choofy. Till I see y'all again. Stay choofed. Take care, guys.
Choofed.